Morning, everyone. Just thought I'd come on. Just wonder how many people are living in fear, how many people are living in love. What does it mean to live in love? So, thinking about the best of everything, looking forward to the day. I love Ho'oponopono, and I think many people have heard about Ho'oponopono now. And that is just to clear yourself of any thoughts, to be at zero, to be at one, zero frequency. So Mabel Katz is really the main person, I would say now, for Ho'oponopono. And Katz is spelled K-A-T-Z, Mabel Katz. And she is lovely. I spoke to her probably about 2 years ago now. Amazing that she gave me the time. She lived with Dr. Hugh Len, who brought it to the awareness. Well, Joe Vitale on The Secret, he brought it to millions of people's awareness about Ho'oponopono, and I'm very grateful to him for that. But it was Dr. Hugh Len that taught him all about that. But Mabel Katz lived with Dr. Hugh Len, not romantically, but did live with him for, I think, 9 years, could have been 11, anyway, around that time. And in that time, learned so much from him, of course. And then when he said he was retiring, Mabel, for the first time, thought, oh, perhaps I could do that now. And then she just let go, to let inspiration. Because what you're doing with Ho'oponopono is you're literally just saying, I love you and thank you. She says you only need to say that in your mind all the time. Can you imagine if you're going around the world or your universe or where you live, your day, thinking I love you and thank you to everything? Looking out the window as you're driving along. Well, obviously being careful. Or if you're a passenger, definitely easy. And thinking I love you, thank you for everything you're looking at. Sounds simplistic, but that's what her first book was called, The Easiest Way. And I honestly do believe, because we are just programmed from birth, programmed, not even knowing it. Our parents were programmed and their parents were programmed. You take on your own set of beliefs and programs, and then it's up to you what you believe. But it's also up to you if you want to change those beliefs. Because who's to say who is right and who is wrong? Or what is right and wrong? Everything is, just is, being. So I just wanted to really talk about, because obviously there's a lot of opinions today. That's fine. People can have their opinion, of course they can. Whatever happened today was probably going to happen. Regardless of whatever, anything happened yesterday. And so, yeah, do you want to come from a place of peace or not? So, yeah, that really just, I thought I would talk about that today, about Ho'oponopono and how it helps me. So you're just thinking, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you. But Mabel says you don't even have to say I'm sorry and please forgive me, because divinity knows that that's what it means. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you, is just saying to the divine, saying to your higher self that you want to clear all old programs and all old beliefs, all old tapes that are replaying. When you wake up in the night and you're thinking, silly thoughts come in because you've been asleep and you start thinking of the day before or the year before, whatever, and it just goes round and round and nothing changes. So it's such a waste of your time. So if you just think, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you. Divinity knows that you want to clear, but you don't have to have any one particular thing in mind for what you want to clear. You literally just are saying that to your higher self, to the universe, divinity, and then divinity knows what to clear and clean, and then you are open for inspiration to take your next step and your next step. So when people say, what's your 5-year goal? What's your 1-year goal? What's your 1-week plan? I don't. I just go by what comes up. If it appeals to me, I'm drawn to going somewhere, drawn to doing something, then I go. The Sacha Stone, this has just come into my mind, so I'll say it. The Sacha Stone tour is on, and he's in Glastonbury tonight. And he's done the Cornwall and the Devon, which has been a huge success. I saw a whole thread this morning, and that was my choice to read it because I am interested. All I can say is that Sacha's lovely to me, and I'm delighted that he's over here and doing a talk. But I've had many, messages, different things happen because I speak with him, and that's fine, but that is my choice. And I just think the amount of good that he's doing, the amount of good that he's spreading, he's such an advocate for peace in the world, and people will disagree with that, and that's their choice. That's absolutely fine. But I just think he is waking a lot of people up to a lot of what's been going on, but he's also really finishing his events, I imagine, from the positivity that's coming from them, with what the future's looking like. And so then you go to Diana Cooper and the golden era of 2032, and Tim Wilde says we're way in line for earlier than that, for the golden era. So where does your attention want to be? Mine definitely would like to be at the golden era, and as much as possible I think of the life that I saw a picture this morning. Actually, I'll bring it up to do a share screen because I do think this is really I'll just find the one that it was. Oh, there it is. Pretty sure that's the one. Yes. So I'll just share this picture because if you want to think about the golden era or the sort of life that you want to live in, I think this would be a really good. So did you know, when it comes down to it, the only knowledge that really matters is how to purify water, which is I spoke to Dr. Alex Ling this week, how to grow your own food, how to cook, how to build, and how to love. And funnily enough, we're not taught any of that in school. Obviously, we had cooking lessons, but did we ever look at what's in the water that we drink? And given the opportunity to think about where the water comes from or what water we're drinking, how to grow our own food. How many children know that a chip comes from potato? I know that's a very simplistic thing to say, but literally, I remember walking around the shop once and saw a man with his baby in a carry thing that was facing him. The baby was facing him, and then he would bring like a broccoli up to the face of the child and say, "This is broccoli, green broccoli. This is a carrot. This is." And I thought, God, that's really worth knowing for a child to be taught that. It was something I never thought of probably doing. Because I was indoctrinated at school with what we thought we had to learn and understand, and has algebra ever helped you? Anyway, I digress. So that was, I guess, with Ho'oponopono, where you want to be at zero most of the time. If you think of a whiteboard, one of the things that Joe Vitale did in his training was he would get everyone in the audience to come up and write on the whiteboard what they do. So what their talent and gift is. And their talent and gift could be EFT, emotional freedom technique. You know, you can do that with the Ho'oponopono, which is supposed to be more powerful as well. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Now I think it says the tapping, EFT. So it could be that you're an EFT practitioner or running the bars practitioner. There's a name for that. Okay. Anyway, it's called running the bars. And if you know that modality, then you'll know what that's called. The emotion technique, body emotion, the emotion code. There's so many different things, you know, could be a hypnotherapist, and wonderful, whatever you've trained in. And we've all trained in so many different things, which is wonderful. It might be angel cards, that you know how to read angel cards, or auras. You know, there's just such a vast, it might be a reflexologist or a Reiki practitioner. So everyone came up and wrote on the board. And then he said, what happened to the whiteboard? Because we're talking about being at zero. But we're so, with all what we've learned, that is heavily within us, that we think we are that, or that we do that. But with Ho'oponopono, it clears you of all that. And then you just go with what comes into your mind, what your inspiration is to do the next step. So as he told the story of Dr. Hew Len, he started rubbing the board out, just meaning to say that when you get a client come along, then you go with inspiration. You're at zero, which is looking at a whiteboard. That's sort of the easiest way to think about Ho'oponopono. You want to be at zero as much as possible, just to allow inspiration, just knowing that the answer's always within, which I never really understood. And so, yeah, you would go, he went back to the whiteboard, but at the same time, as he was telling the story about Ho'oponopono, and Dr. Hew Len, beautiful, lovely story, and of how he cured a whole, well, it was a mental institution in Hawaii for criminally insane patients, something like that. Probably haven't said that the right way around, but anyway. But he didn't appear to be doing anything when he went in, but they were so desperate for someone to stay at that time, because so many doctors and what have you had left. And so they just agreed that he could come in. And after 4 months, where these patients had been shackled, highly medicated, staffing was horrendous, no one wanted to be there, staff manipulating the patients, patients manipulating the staff, you know, that whole thing, it was just horrible, horrible environment. Paint wouldn't even stay on the walls. And then after 4 months of him being there, the paint was staying on the walls. They were overstaffed rather than understaffed. The patients were being unshackled. The medication was being lowered. You know, a complete different way. After 4 years, that whole unit was shut down. And so they asked him how he was doing that. And it was just to take 100% responsibility. He would take 100% responsibility for whatever was going on within that hospital. For whatever was going on with the patient he was reading about. So he'd go into his office, take out a file on one of the inmates' patients, read what they had done, and some had committed the most heinous, horrible crimes that you could imagine and don't want to imagine. He was reading that, but he knew on some level that if he was reading that, that had come to his awareness for him to clear and clean on. So he was, as he was reading that, in his mind, he was saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you, which is, you know, saying to divinity that I'm 100% responsible for anything. And over the lifetimes that we've had, and we've had many lifetimes here, if you believe that, and I do, we've done everything. We've been everything. And so what you're reading, where they say we are all one, you're reading about a part of you that might have been years, centuries ago. But you're clearing it now. This is the generation to clear all of these things. So you're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you, to divinity. But it's clearing it for you, for the person you're reading about, for your ancestors. But like weeds on a surface, they keep coming up. So that's why it's a 24/7. Even though it's easy, all you've got to do is think, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you. It is a 24/7 process. Took me years to get used to it. I didn't actually enjoy listening to Joe Vitale's first CD about At Zero, I think it was called, or Zero Limits, his first book. And I didn't really enjoy listening to that. I had it on CD. And so I didn't take to it for about 3 or 4 years. But then I saw Mabel Katz. I somehow come across Mabel Katz, and then I read her book, The Easiest Way, and that was really what turned me towards Ho'oponopono again. And then, Dennis Mears, who's run the Ho'oponopono courses with me, he made me realise, and he's absolutely right, that we're so grateful to Joe Vitale, because where he was a name within The Secret, he was able to let millions of people know about Ho'oponopono that would never have heard about it. And that has helped millions of people. So yeah, for peace of mind, to be at zero. I'll look also for another clip that I shared this week with on my Ho'oponopono course. If that just brings that up. Yes, I'll just look for this. Nicole McKindo. And it's a very unusual spelling. Nicole is Nikwool. But she put a beautiful post up the other day. And I did share this with everyone this week on my course, because, so if I read that to you as well, it's not very long. But very helpful, because we're coming back to the world that we want to live in as well. Share screen. That one, I think that's it. There. We are between worlds. So that's the only, yes, that's as much as it is. That means all worlds, all dimensions are present. These worlds are vibration based. Where you place your energy in terms of attention and direction is the world you will land in. Stop listening to anything or anyone who is spreading fear or chaos. My world is beautiful, free-flowing, peaceful, full of divine synchronicities and love and laughter. Be happy, choose peace, stay away from others' dramas, don't engage, observe, don't absorb. Observe, don't absorb. Just a gentle reminder, nothing to do but love, peace. And then she shared that picture, which is very beautiful. So, yeah, I thought that was wonderful this week, because if you want the new world, the new earth, you want to visualize the earth that you want to live in. But we live from memories mostly. That's a big thing with Ho'oponopono. You live from memories. Because it's happened before, you think it'll happen again, or you live in fear of it happening again. But we want to clear all of that, because that is just, it's gone, all old memories. And so you want to just move forward in love and peace. And so, yeah, just an example, and this has come to my mind, so I will just say that. I was speaking with Dr. Alex Ling the other night, and he was quite a long time in coming on to the program. He couldn't find the invite, bless his heart. And so I was just chattering away for about 18 minutes before he got there. And I inadvertently said that I thought he was with someone else in his Aquan water. And that was just in the build up to us talking. I didn't know that there was no partnership anymore. In fact, it was never really a partnership. And then his lovely partner, Vivian, messaged me because someone had said to her that I'd said about that. So yes, at the very start, there was a connection that they thought would work well for them. And it didn't. You know, Aquan Water is Alex's baby. And of course people would like to be in on it, but at the core of it, it's his, and it's filled with love. I think you've got gold, frankincense and myrrh, but you just need the tiniest bit of that water in with your normal water, or just drink it, you know, and it realigns all the water within you, and we're made mostly of water. So I put an apology out yesterday on this page just to say I am sorry because I inadvertently mentioned another person. And yeah, that is theirs. Why did I ever say it? Anyway, that came to my mind just to say that. Oh yes, because you listen to people outside of yourself as well. If I might not have mentioned that if I hadn't listened to somebody else before that. That reminded me that there had been, you know, a relationship of a type at the start of that. But anyway, keep your own counsel, stay in love and peace as much as possible. And yeah, I don't know why Ellie can't join me this morning, but I'm sure she'll be here next week. And thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. I love you and thank you.